Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really big one, a name that well, it speaks for itself, the Bermuda Triangle. You hear it and you think, okay, lost ships, planes vanishing. It's got this reputation as one of Earth's great mysteries. But is it really? Or is there more to the story?
Well, it definitely got the reputation, hasn't it? And geographically, it's vast. We're talking over 500,000 square miles of ocean,
Right.
roughly marked out by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico.
Hmm.
And it's true. For a long time, there have been these anecdotal reports, pilots, sailors talking about, compasses going crazy, navigation gear failing.
Weird clouds even, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Strange atmospheric stuff sometimes mentioned. And these aren't just random tales. Some came from pretty experienced people.
Okay, so that's the setup. We've got these dramatic stories, this huge area. So our mission in this deep dive is to try and cut through some of that speculation. Is it a portal? A magnetic vortex? Or are there, perfectly scientific reasons? Maybe even just misunderstandings piled up over time. Let's see what we actually know.
Let's do it.
Because when you look at the history, it's not just like vague whispers. Some of the cases are genuinely chilling. They really fuel that legend.
Okay,
Like Flight 19, that's the famous one, right? 1945.
yes, a classic case, often cited.
5 Navy bombers just gone on a routine training flight. And then the rescue plane they sent out.
Also vanished. It's incredible.
27 people in total, no wreckage, no signals, nothing.
And that's not the only big one. Think about the USS Cyclops back in 1918.
Huge ship, right? Navy
Yeah.
cargo.
Massive. Over 300 people on board.
Up-
Disappeared somewhere between Barbados and Baltimore. Again, no distress call. Just gone.
Wow. And even more recently, wasn't there a yacht? The Witchcraft?
Yes, 1967. Reportedly just a mile offshore from Miami. Radioed for help, seemed like a minor issue, and then complete silence.
Yeah.
Vanished.
So yeah, these are not trivial incidents. You can see why people started looking for answers.
Exactly. And that's where the theories start coming in, both the sort of mundane and the more out there ones.
Right.
One persistent idea is about magnetic anomalies. The Earth's magnetic field isn't perfectly uniform. Geological stuff, solar flares, they can cause local variations, make compasses unreliable.
Which I imagine before GPS and modern tech, a wonky compass would be a huge problem out there.
A nightmare, potentially,
Mm.
especially if other factors are involved, like bad weather or disorientation. It's not unique to the triangle, this magnetic variation, but it's certainly a real navigational hazard.
Okay, so that's one angle. But what about some of the more dramatic geological ideas? I've heard about methane gas releases.
Ah, yes, the methane hydrate theory.
It sounds pretty wild, like the ocean floor just erupts.
Well, not quite an explosion in the typical sense, but the idea is you have these large deposits of methane trapped in ice-like structures called clathrates on the seabed. If pressure or temperature changes, they can destabilize and release huge amounts of gas very rapidly. This could, theoretically, make the water above suddenly become frothy and much less dense.
So a ship just loses buoyancy, sinks instantly.
That's the hypothesis. It's certainly a dramatic possibility, though whether it's happened on the scale needed to sink large vessels without warning is still debated scientifically.
Still a scary thought. And that brings us to maybe the more obvious stuff, the environment itself.
Absolutely crucial. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
part of the Atlantic known for powerful currents, like the Gulf Stream.
Right.
And sudden, violent storms can whip up very quickly. Tropical storms, hurricanes.
Yeah, it's in that hurricane belt.
Exactly. And then you have rogue waves. These aren't myths, they're documented. Massive, unexpected waves that could appear seemingly out of nowhere, capable of swamping even large ships or damaging aircraft flying low.
But again, storms and rogue waves happen in other parts of the ocean too, right? Is it demonstrably worse inside the triangle? Or is it just that it's a really busy area, lots of ships, lots of planes?
That's a key point. It's one of the world's major shipping lanes. Lots of air traffic, too. More traffic means, statistically, more potential for accidents.
And the simplest answer is often human error, especially back in the day.
Can't discount it. Navigational mistakes, maybe getting lost, communication breakdowns, unexpected equipment failure, especially with older technology and less accurate weather forecasting.
Right. Combine bad weather with a bit of confusion or a mechanical issue in that vast ocean. It's plausible things could just disappear without a trace.
It really is. Tragic, but plausible.
But even with all these logical, if sometimes grim explanations, The mystery, the allure, it just doesn't seem to fade, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's captured the imagination.
It's funny how a few really dramatic stories, plus our, human fascination with the unknown, can kind of overshadow that more straightforward science sometimes.
Definitely. And popular culture has played a huge role.
Oh, absolutely. That book by Charles Berlitz, The Bermuda Triangle, that really kicked things off in the mainstream, didn't it?
It absolutely did. It became a massive bestseller in the 70s. It compiled many of the stories and heavily leaned into the mystery, suggesting unconventional explanations.
And since then, it's been everywhere. Movies, TV shows, cartoons, often with theories involving like aliens or Atlantis.
Time warps, dimensional portals, all sorts of speculative ideas have been linked to it in popular media.
It's just fascinating in itself. But what does the official side say? The scientists, the government agencies?
Well, that's where things get quite clear-cut, actually. Despite all the hype, organizations like the U.S. Coast Guard, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they don't recognize the Bermuda Triangle as a uniquely hazardous area.
Really? They don't have like special warnings for it?
No. Their official stance, based on incident reports and statistics, is that the number of disappearances within that region isn't statistically out of line with any other heavily trafficked area of the ocean.
So accidents happen everywhere, basically.
Exactly. They look at the data shipwrecks, plane crashes, and compare it to other busy zones like the English Channel or routes in the Pacific. They find no significant difference in the rate of incidents.
So tragedy happens, but it's not necessarily because it's the triangle.
That's the scientific and official consensus. They often attribute the perception of mystery more to, well, media sensationalism and the clustering of some unexplained historical incidents than to any inherent paranormal or uniquely dangerous quality of the area itself.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've gone on quite a journey here. From these really compelling, chilling disappearances.
Flight 19, the Cyclops.
Yeah, through all the theories, nomadic fields, methane gas, crazy weather, human error, right up to the official scientific view that says, hold on, maybe it's not that special after all.
It's a fascinating mix, isn't it? You have these genuinely unsettling events, and then you have layers of explanation, both scientific and speculative, built on top.
It really shows how fact and, well, maybe folklore can get tangled up.
Yeah, and looking at the bigger picture, it kind of boils down to this. Even with the scientific explanations, even though agencies like the Coast Guard don't see it as uniquely dangerous, the Bermuda Triangle just keeps hold of our imagination, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's still the Bermuda Triangle.
Right. And maybe the real enduring mystery isn't about the ocean itself or magnetic fields or anything like that.
Well then.
Perhaps it's about us, about our, deep-seated fascination with the unknown, our desire to believe there are still places where the ordinary rules don't apply, where something extraordinary might just be possible.